Hello, teachers. Happy fall. I'm so excited that we are all back. In case you missed our professional development session today, I wanted to walk through a slideshow that walks you through some of our goals this year. So, if you missed it, we started out with an icebreaker. We had people get up because we have new staff joining us this year. We did an activity called Inner and Outer Circles. So, like it says, if you were a staff member that was returning with a new staff member, I had you go into the inside circle if you were not a classroom teacher, and then our classroom teachers were on the outside. And we shared information, just get to know you pieces real quick and rotate it around the circle. So, if you missed that, hopefully you get the chance to introduce yourself to our new staff and then share a little bit about you and hear a little bit about them as well. The agenda that I'm going to walk through today includes reminders of our mission and vision, school-wide goals for the school year, strategies to achieve those goals, and how we're going to share those out with our stakeholders. Our stakeholders being our families, our community members, and our school board. This is us. This is Cooley. We were founded in 1982. We have 268 students that are grades 3K through 12th grade. 3 campuses, as you know, in West Salem and Onalaska, Wisconsin. 71 teachers and staff are joining us this year. Our student body represents over 20 churches in the area, which is really awesome. And we've become a member of the Teaching for Transformation School, and we're ACSI accredited, which means that we have a larger Christian organization that is actually internationally based, holding us accountable to high expectations, to high excellence of teaching in the classroom, which is a part of our goals this year. So you'll see that Teaching for Transformation is something that if you're new to, we will guide you through it. But if you've been here, you know that Teaching for Transformation sets a foundation for strong pedagogy in our classroom that's student-centered and engaging and focused on biblical integration and having a Christ-like atmosphere within our classrooms. Here's us. This is Cooley Christian. We exist to intentionally and lovingly equip students to live life on the edge, educator driven, God-centered, and engaged. Our vision, the vision of Cooley Christian, is to be a thriving community of families, staff, and board members united to honor God by teaching and equipping students through an exceptional collaboration of academics and experiences. When we met as a staff, we talked about within our vision, what are 2 or 3 words that stand out to you? So I'm going to give you a couple seconds to pause and reread that vision to yourself. And if you're watching this recap, to think about or write out 2 or 3 words that are standing out to you. All right, so you'll see that I did underline some words there: thriving community, united, equipping, and exceptional collaboration. Those are words that always stand out to me in our mission, and those were some of the things that were shared by your local fellow teachers. um, our mission and vision should be guiding our decisions that we make with our students as a whole child. We want to think about them academically, socially, and emotionally. This is what we should always be working towards. We always want our students to feel educated at the end of the day. We want our students to feel driven, pushed to live out a Christ-centered example to others, pushed to be driven to persevere through hard things, driven to try new things, to approach change with a positive attitude. And again, that God centered piece. So to be continuously integrating biblical concepts, reminding our students of God's story within their learning, and then to be engaged. We talked about this with our TFT. We want student centered engagement. We want our students to be doing the learning and the work, and therefore we want our classroom environment to be hands-on and focused on them. Community organizations. So for those of us joining us new to the West Salem, Onalaska area, La Crosse area, some community organizations that we are really connected with at Cooley include First Free Church. Their kids ministry includes Kids Church, Awana Clubs on Wednesday nights, and Momco, which is a morning's moms group. We have a ton of families, and I mean a ton of families. Even though our churches are represented over 20 different churches, when it comes to Awana on Wednesday nights, we have a large portion of our students attending. Awana starts with 3-year-olds and goes all the way through high school. And so it's a great time for families to come together to connect, and a lot of our Cooley students go there. First Free Church also provides Bible studies and small groups and an opportunity for families who are new to Christ to hear about them. So if we have a new family joining us who are not connected with the church or who don't know God yet, but they love the idea of our school, connecting them with a place like First Free Church is great because it allows our families to have that opportunity to learn about the Bible. There's a Bible basics class that really walks them through what does it even mean to be a Christian? What does this look like? So it's a great connection to pass along to our families. Same thing with, as you know, Cooley has some athletics, but we are not a fully integrated athletic program. We don't have baseball. We don't have softball. We have track and field through an alliance for our high schoolers, but especially for our elementary middle school, it's nice to connect families with the YMCA, with the Boys and Girls Club, and with Parks and Rec, so that we are offering our students the opportunities and the extracurriculars that they care about and are connected with, which is why we're so happy to be supporting the YMCA, be supporting the BGC, be working with Parks and Rec and coordinate. We've even allowed them to use our fields before for sports, especially for soccer, to bring that community together. So if there are other organizations that you know of that Cooley should be connected with, please let me know. We are always wanting to build more connection and continue to bring opportunities to our students outside of what our school capacity can offer. Here's our big reason for meeting today. These are our school-wide goals. We want to be engaging our families to strengthen student learning in and out of school and promote inclusivity in learning, positive school ethos and culture, and meeting student needs and school needs. Here's how we're going to do this. To engage our families, we will have weekly communication with families through classroom newsletters or a classroom app. Most of you use Class Dojo in the elementary school, which is awesome. I'm going to start having monthly Zoom meetings where families can pop on and hear an update around these school-wide goals. We're going to have multiple family engagement evenings throughout the school year. Topics could include character education, as we're talking about that Christ-like center and our TFT practices, and how to build our students up to be strong citizens, to have their faith out in the real world, but also to just be kind and caring to others, to have the moral standard, to be honest, to be humble, all of those pieces. So we may have a night this year focused around that. We often have a reading night where families come, and we've done it with the camping where they're reading in tents or flashlights. We've had a reading focus of Under the Sea, where they're reading about nonfiction, science, ocean topics. We've had a math and science night before where students are teaching their families how to play different math games, where families are walking through simple science experiments. So we'll see what the interest is this year and design that. And then monthly board updates. So I will provide monthly board updates to our school board to share steps of how we are continuing to work on these goals. Creating that inclusive and learning environment is a huge part of our goals this year and a way that we want to be successful for our families. To do this, we are going to adapt to a project-based learning model in our classroom, which I will show you what that means on the next slide. And then to help that project-based learning be successful, we will also have assistive technology available in our library to be checked out by teachers as they identify students who need them. So what does this mean? Project-based learning, that small group cooperative learning style. Students are working on a project for a couple weeks or even a couple of months based around cross-curricular subject matter. So they can choose a passion, they can choose something driven by you where you have a bigger theme and they are choosing the topic or research they want to do. But the real goal is that this project-based learning is focused around their strengths and helping to use those strengths to conquer challenges and weaknesses that make it difficult for them to be successful in the classroom. It can be collaborative in that cooperative learning style. You can have independent study opportunities for students who prefer to work alone. You can have it be partners, ebbing and flowing to your students' needs, but it really does allow all of our students to feel accepted, to feel like they have a voice, to feel that student centered, to go on that student discovery. All of those pieces go into that project based learning opportunity. I mentioned the assistive technology. So, again, students who can't or struggle with participating in the learning that was designed for them, using technology devices can really help them be successful. So, text to speech apps on the iPad or the tablet that allow students to speak into the iPad. This is great for students with fine motor challenges, for students who struggle with spelling or grammar. Wiggle seats and hokey stools for our students who need to move, having that adaptive seating. Sound blocking headphones are great for students who get overwhelmed by the extra stimulus and noise, which can happen when you're working as collaborative work, especially in that project-based mode. So having those available, we will have multiple pairs for our students who really need them to help them focus. And then Intel Reader is a handheld device that lets them record any set of text read aloud. So students who are struggling readers, need to read complicated scientific research, this device can be really helpful to them. If it's not a reading assessment, there's no reason to let their reading deficit hurt them. So if they're reading for math and they need to read through that word problem, they can use this device to help them do that and to walk through, um, like slowly to have it read back to them so that they can really think and process through the question and solve it. Finally, we want to connect with our stakeholders. And so here are 3 parts and ways that we're going to do this. We're going to share goals with our stakeholders, first by having an information night where parents can come, community members can come, board members can come, although they already know our goals, but sharing this out with them in focus groups with 2 or 3 of you. So I'm going to have you as the teachers be leading those focus groups, answering their questions of what this will look like in your classroom and what you've learned this will look like as a school as a whole. And then we'll come back together as a large group if they had other questions that you couldn't answer. Finally, part 2, as the year gets started and we're using that project-based learning model, we're going to invite parents and family community members in to our classrooms to observe project-based learning in action so they can see how the environment looks and feels different, how students are a cohesive group, how the classroom feels safe and inviting and recognizes all of the different cultures and ethnicities. They'll be able to see our TFT language. Your Deep Hope will be up on the board, letting them see our character education pieces, so the virtue that we're focusing on that month or how that's woven in to our classroom expectations and our behavior expectations, all of those things, we want them to come into the classroom and observe. Then finally in the spring, we will ask parents and students to share their thoughts on project-based learning, how they felt the school year went, how they feel we did on achieving our goals, and what they would like us to focus on next year, or what they would like us to continue on into next year. Thank you so much. Again, if you've missed our professional development day, I hope that you've taken the time to read through these slides, to listen to what I am sharing. And if you have any follow-up questions, please reach out to me. I'm so excited for us to kick off this year and to focus on our new goals.